Where have all the good men gone? This is a question that's been bouncing around for at least a decade, and it's asked by all the post-war women out there. They search high and they search low, looking for their knight in shining armor, their perfect man. I decided that I would do a search on the subject, and I came up with 16 returns on the first page. They even have a book that's been written on the subject. Let's take a look at some of these articles and see if we can find the solution to the problem. Let's take a look at what the Daily Mail has to say on the subject. We have, where have all the good men gone? These sassy, sophisticated, solvent women say they are struggling to find other halves that can measure up. 5 single women share why they've struggled to find men worth dating. They ask if it is possible to find independent, attractive midlife daters. And one dating coach says there are 7 women for every man aged 40 to 55. At 48, Jane Townsend is beautiful, independent, and single. She keeps fit, takes great care of her appearance, and is looking for a man who is active, in good shape, articulate, and emotionally open. Given her good looks and vivacious nature, eligible suitors must surely be beating a path to her door. These are 4 of the women, and I don't know about the rest of you. They look pretty weathered to me. As a matter of fact, they look like they've lived a heavily stressful life. You can see it in their face. This woman in the purple, obviously overweight. This woman in the back in the white, obviously overweight. This woman in the black, obviously overweight. The only woman that's anywhere close to being fit out of this group would be the woman in red. None of these women were the women that we were talking about to begin with. Here we go, a close-up of 3 of them. Look at how rough they look. And they can't figure out why they can't find a man. Here's one of the group. Look at how fat she is, how big she is. And again, the face, heavily stressed. A lot of road miles on that one. With the statistics against them, women are motivated to want to look after themselves and make the best of what they have, while there is no incentive for the men to do the same. Boy, you men sure do seem to be the problem. Joe says this generation of men don't bother to make the effort to represent themselves in an attractive way, even online, or they just list what they don't want in a woman and say nothing about themselves because they can. My goodness, that sounds like the way women present themselves. Older men are so set in their ways you almost feel more like a carer than a girlfriend. Lucy Verner, 46, is another frustrated midlife dater who has been single since splitting with her husband 7 years ago. She was 39. She didn't understand that at 40 you become invisible to men. Men of my age target younger women, and I don't fancy older men. So it's a real problem. I've stopped looking. Having to get back in the dating market, I've focused on getting myself fit again. But many men don't seem to make the same effort. I keyed on again. This woman sounds like the type of woman that once she gets in a relationship, gets comfortable, she pulls a pin on the fat grenade. And then when the relationship goes to the toilet, she blames everybody else. She says, I have 2 children and a career to manage, and I'm forthright. I think men find women like me intimidating. Let me tell you, women, no man finds any woman intimidating. That's a lie shoveled to you by the feminists. It doesn't exist. What it comes down to, you're not worth the headache of dealing with. You've got children from other men and a job. You're married to your job. We don't care about your job. In other words, we are going to be so far down the list of importance to you, you're not worth our effort. And pretty much what we come to with the Daily Wire is these women, even though they're almost 50, and we've got one in here, or a couple of them in here who are over 50, are still blaming the men. They still have not taken the time to look in the mirror and see the problem is staring right back at them. Let's take a look at either Quora or Quora, where a gentleman answered the question, why do some ask, where have all the good men gone, when it is clear that the good men are not really good enough? This gentleman, Peter Bond, responds with, these girls are victims of feminism. Feminism tells them they can do whatever they want and there are no consequences to their actions. A single mother with 3 children from 3 different men is just as attractive as a young virgin. With such belief, they choose promiscuous lifestyle and have been with countless bad boys during their prime. Many of them have children with bad boys. Naturally, the bad boys do not want to settle down to raise the children. Now they are looking for the good men with resources to support them, not love. Unfortunately for them, the good men do not want promiscuous women and do not want to raise other people's children. During their prime, these women would laugh at the good men when they asked her for a date. Most of these good men had experienced divorce or saw many other good men get destroyed both financially and emotionally in divorce court. The risk is sky high with no rewards, so they rather stay single and focus on themselves. These women, stuck in an endless cycle of one bad boy after another, they now are asking, where have all the good men gone? I think this gentleman summed it up very well. Many people try to blame men for this situation, when in reality it's the women that have created this problem. Let's take a look at one more article and see what they have to say. We'll try this one in the bottom left. Where are all the good men? 20 reasons it's so hard to find a good man. Let's take a look. First one, hookup culture makes it difficult to date. Yet women were the ones that created the hookup culture. I guess that pretty much sums that one up. You're using the wrong dating app. If you're using a dating app, you're doing it wrong. You're failing to understand what drives men. I agree with this. 100%. Women have become so self-centered they don't even think about what men desire or want. Some men are intimidated by strong women. The fact that they use the word some, I can't argue this one too much, but I will say I have never met any man in my life that was intimidated by any woman. The man-child phenomenon. Once again, we're going to blame men. People have emotional baggages. Well, unfortunately, women are the ones that cling to this baggage way more than men. Want advice specific to your situation? While this article explores the main reasons a good man is hard to find, it can be helpful to speak to a relationship coach about your situation. Let's make this way more complicated than we have to. Being a commitment phobe is normal. No, it's not. You're too easy to get. This goes back to hookup culture. This is what women wanted. People tend to hold out for the best. Women do this. They always think there's something better coming down the pipe. Good men are already in a relationship. This isn't true. Most good men desire a relationship, but that does not mean they're in a relationship. You might not be looking for the same kind of love. This makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. You don't know how to lead love. Women are not leaders. Women are followers. This is one of your biggest problems, is not understanding your role. You aren't ready to negotiate right. Okay. You're waiting for your perfect man who doesn't exist, which is what we covered earlier. You're letting the small things get in the way. Oh, women are perfect at this. Any minute detail, and they're like, nope, that's it. You act too desperate and it turns guys off. Actually, what I've found with women is they act the exact opposite of desperate. They think they're so wonderful and great they walk on water. You aren't really trying. This is true. Women do not make any effort whatsoever, in my experience, to maintain a relationship with a man. Your social skills could use some serious work. Exactly. You haven't improved yourself in a long time. You haven't improved yourself, period. So that's what we get from this article with 20 reasons why you can't find a good man. So where are all these good men? When I look around, I see them everywhere. From construction workers, to the military, to plumbers, to truck drivers. Are these men hiding behind trees? In dumpsters? Maybe just hiding in their homes? Or perhaps running away? Why would men do this? Do you look like this? Soft, delicate, feminine. In this group here, the woman in white, the second one over, she is as heavy as any woman should be. Or do you look like this? You can have all the fat acceptance movement you want. Men don't want water buffaloes. This is an embarrassment to a man. A woman should be something he is proud of, not ashamed of. You see, you women are operating on this concept that men have all these insecurities that you have because you've bought into this belief that men and women are the same. Well, we're not. And so all the shaming language that you try and tell us that we should want fat women, we don't. That's the bottom line. Men do not want fat women. No matter what you say about it, it's not going to change it. We want what we want, and that's the way it is. Or maybe you look like this. Generally speaking, men do not want women with tattoos. Perhaps you look like this. Does anybody find this attractive? Can you just imagine showing up to the company Christmas party with any of these three women? Do you have a mountain of debt? This is extremely unattractive to men. Student loan debt, car note debt, mortgage, credit cards, all of it. Perhaps you're a man hater. There's nothing better than being on a date with a woman and listening to her bash men. If we're so bad, why do you choose us? Or a baby mama. No man wants to pay to raise another man's children. On top of this, if the father is involved in the life in any way, shape, or form, even if he's not, there's still the possibility he has a say under my house. That is not acceptable. Kevin Samuels says it best. If I have $1,000 to spend on Christmas for children, you have 2 children, I have 1, you're going to expect me to spend 2/3 of that money on your children. Is their father going to spend money on my child? No. Maybe you have a foul mouth. Are you a promiscuous woman? Is your cell phone glued to the end of your nose? If you're addicted to social media, you will not be able to keep both a good marriage and social media. For some reason, modern women have got this attitude where they give everything they have to a job, but at the same time feel that they don't need to give anything to their marriage, or at least bare minimum, when a marriage is a lifetime commitment and a job is not. The men are out there. You're just going to have to do better. Problem with that is you may have already crossed one too many bridge for a good man to want you. That's it for me. Y'all have a great day, and I'm out.